crack two.
This game started not intense. It's intense now.
Oh my God!
This is a tilt, baby. Everyone's catching everything here.
Welcome into another episode of the UDL podcast. I'm your commissioner and host, Troy Costa, here with your co-host of the show, Shmoney Shmurda team.
Ski.
And a very special guest today. We have a two-time All-Star, a two-time finalist, the 2023 Most Improved Player of the Year, and how about a 2024 All-Star champion as well. It's Andrew Reno. How we doing, Reens?
Good man. I knew you were going to do the intro. I was wondering how you're going to do it. I didn't know if you're going to hit me with a two-time All-Star, two-time finalist. I appreciate that. Much love.
Oh, yeah. Come on now. I stopped there. I could have said one-time All-UDL guy, All-UDL team, All-Defensive team, Rising Star. I mean, you've done it all here in your career.
I'm trying to stack it up. It's just the beginning.
You were obviously a coveted guest that we wanted to get on this podcast. On this one specifically, after your performance in Tourney 1 on opening day, season 7, the biggest season yet, and you come in here with JT Bain and put on a show. But shit, before you even tell me about how this tourney went, walk me back a little in time about how you got the news. For those of you that don't know, Reno was partners with Brandon last year. They had a great season, kind of their coming out party as individual players and as a team. And then in the offseason, Brandon kind of dropped the bomb on Reno that he's leaving them for Umby. Fast forward to this year, they end up winning, but we'll get there later. And left Reno on an island. So, Reno, what was going through your head during all that? And how'd you come up with the partner that you landed on?
I'll keep it as quick as possible. But it's an honor, first off, to have me on the pod, week 1. There's a lot of bunch of dogs that played, we'll get to it, but played terrific when you look at the stats after this past or 2 Saturdays ago. But in terms of me and JT, kind of in Brandon too, it was kind of a wild ride. I forget what it was. It might have been a podcast, or I remember talking, I think it was on a podcast or something. And I mentioned, if Brandon wants to play with like a top 5, top 7 guy, that was cool by me. And at the time I was thinking, well, let's go through the names real quick. There's only a couple guys, and I don't see a couple of these guys breaking up. So, cause I heard a little rumbles about it, and I was fine with that. So I had said it. And then, we were at the award show, and he pulled me aside, and I knew exactly when he pulled me aside what was going down. And we had the conversation, we hashed it out, probably had about 5 daps in the conversation, and it was all good. And then, at that point going, October, I'm a free agent. So, tested the waters a little bit. Didn't do a whole lot of reaching out because I knew we had the whole off season, and, I'll keep it a buck. And the first guy hit up was Matt Russell, because I saw the potential in Matt. And one of the first things I said to him was like, dude, I'm not trying to break you and Coco up. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. But if whatever works out, if you want to make that decision, let's go. And he was like, we were going back and forth for a while, and then a couple days later, Bain hit me up and was like, "You looking for a partner? I heard you and Brandon broke up or whatever." And at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna mess around with this whole free agency thing. Like, I'm gonna lock it in. Me and Bain been tight since high school, but really for 10 years plus, and I know what he's capable of. So. Fast forward to Tourney 1, and I'm I'm very proud of the way he played. Like after coming off, God knows, 5 tournaments and not playing, I was a little bit nervous, as I said, what he was going to bring to the table. And then the first game, he carried us in points and did his thing. And I was like, oh, he's back. And I know I can bring that out of JT too, to really show, what he's capable of on a different team. Shout out to Beretti and stuff for, swinging me the partner. He rightfully so stuck with Drew. But so that's how I landed on Bane.
Be honest about your expectations with JT. I mean, there was plenty of rankings in the offseason and lists and leaderboards going out there, and your names weren't on there. I don't know did you feel like you were snubbed, or were you rightfully placed at the time? Did you expect to have so much success so early on?
No, I honestly, I'll keep it a buck. I didn't expect to have as great of a tourney one as we did. I knew we were capable of walking out of there with a win or two. We got myself and Bane. It'd be a disappointment if we went 0 for 2, but we 100% exceeded expectations. But at the end of the day, we were in the winners bracket championship with a chance to go to the finals, and weren't able to take care of that. And then we got to the finals and we didn't push it to a game 2. So Brandon and I went to the finals tourney 2 last season, and Bane and I went to the finals this year tourney 1. So if you did that math out, it'd be 8 or 9 tournaments, and it's been 2 finals. So with that being said, I'd find it hard to believe that Bane and I don't end up in the finals again.
I wasn't there, Reno. So who did you lose to before you went to the loser bracket? Who sent you to the loser bracket?
We got sent to the losers bracket. It hurts. When he listens, he'll have a little smirk. I know him, and that's still my guy, and it's all love with Brandon. As soon as I saw him at the tourney, it was all good. But and it's been all good since the off season. But we got bounced to the losers bracket in the winner to go to the championship against Brandon and Umby, and then took care of Rocco and Zill to get to the championship, and then lost again to Brandon and Umby. Which like I said, it's all love, but I'll keep it a buck. Bane and I came into the season, and we were like, if there's anybody we want to see, first tourney, game 1, it's Brandon and Umby. So
I remember you saying that before the tourney.
Hey, we ate our words, but we're next time we see them, we're turning up.
Now that's what's up, because at the end of the day, you guys met at the last game, right? So it kind of was a Cinderella story if you think about what went down before the tournament, and then the outcome of having Brandon versus Reno in the finals is just surreal. And
me and you were talking.
Wanted to see. So
we were talking. We couldn't have written a better script if we tried. If this was WWE and we were playing in the wins, I mean, we that's probably what we would have gone with in the finals, is a Reno versus Brandon finals, because that was the hot storyline of the offseason. And the fact that it happened on opening day in JT Bane's return after 10 months, it's just, you can't write that. You can't write
bro,
that.
It's crazy, bro. JT and Reno teaming up, and then Reno versus Brandon, JT coming back, probably comeback player of the year nominee already.
No doubt.
If he keeps this type of play up, I think he's a strong contender for that award for sure.
And then you had Umby winning his 6th UDL championship, which puts him in an elite category. I mean, we got to start adding his name to the GOAT status, to the Mount Rushmore conversations. You're putting up 3. He's top 3 for you, top 3 all time.
Is he 3rd?
He might be 3rd now. He might have taken 3rd after Lang and J Rich
for rings, right?
He is 3rd for rings.
I'm saying he's 3rd for rings, right?
Rocco was 5, yeah.
Yeah, I think he just cracked 3rd for rings. There was so many people with 5. There's a lot. There's a lot with 5 and 4.
Bigar got 5.
6. I think he's like Michael Jordan now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He got 6. That's a lot of rings.
Yeah. He got his 6th.
Yeah.
Brandon got his 1st. And here's a little message from right after Brandon won his 1st.
Y'all got any words?
It's long overdue for this.
Appreciate Reno.
Long overdue for this.
But this was due. This was due. I needed this.
And against your old partner. That's fucked up.
Rocco says, and against your old partner. That's fucked up.
I feel like that's not the end of the story, man.
You know, if it was bad blood, he would have had a little something to say there. You know, that's my guy. I was, you know, if it wasn't me, it was, you know, it's going to be him. And I knew that Brandon and Umby coming into the season, like, I think that they could be up there for top 2, top 1 if they can continue what they're doing.
Hell yeah, bro. And before we get off the topic of Reno and Brandon and, you know, the finale, where do you think you guys will end up in the playoffs? I want a prediction from you, Reno, on you and JT's playoff position because now you guys are sitting at the 2nd seed, obviously, with one turning in. Where do you think you're going to be? Because me and Troy were also talking about the fact that you have 2 teams in Reno and JT and Brandon and Umby who were not teams last year that look like they might be able to grab 2 playoff spots. You know what I'm saying? So
no doubt. I think that, you know, getting 10 points from going to the finals, it'd be really hard to see us not in the final or in the playoffs. But you know, Brandon and I went to the finals last year and we went top 5 the first 3 tournaments and we still ended up at the 7th seed. It just shows how deep the league's turned into. So it is a hard question, but I for me, coming out the gate this hot, I'd find it hard to see us not top 6. When you ask the question, I'd say 5th place, I think would be in the equation. My end goal with Bane is to get him that championship. That would put everything that I try to do in UDL over the top, is if I could grab Bane that championship. One of the most overdue championships. So if we were to grab a championship with a 2nd place finish, I mean, that'd be really hard to fall out of the top 5.
If you guys get a ring and JT finally wins his 1st after 7 years, man, I think a lot of guys in the league would be rooting for that to happen.
Yeah,
I think a UDL movie would be brewing if something like that happened. Like, it would be too crazy to not have a movie on the season. Imagine that was the last tournament, Reno versus Brandon rematch. Reno wins, JT gets his 1st ring.
Hey, I'll do a little foreshadowing. I'd love to see that matchup 1st round in the playoffs somehow or the other.
I'll be crazy too.
If and when JT gets his ring this season, I think he'll then hang it up. I think he's been waiting to hang up the cleats until he wins this ring, and I think this year he gets it and he sets off into the sunset.
I mean, that'd be ideal. We were talking last year about, you know, the power 3 of not getting over the hump was Brandon and I, JT and Beretti, and then as partnerships, you and Ty. So it's still, that conversation's still there. The partnership changed a little bit, but that conversation's still there. Like, who's the first of those 3 that's going to crack the seal on their 1st championship? Obviously, Brandon went with Umby. You know, championships are hard to come by, but with that, that's a stacked team. We expected Brandon and Umby to be at least in a couple championships, you know, so it'll be interesting.
My 1st ring. I'm gonna get my 1st ring this year.
Smart is back.
And I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that by, like, strategically planning a tourney on a day where no one can show up but me and Troy.
Is that a Woj bomb? Are you in on Saturday? What's the word, bro?
It's gonna be me and Troy duking it out, and I got Troy.
Imagine we just throw a little 2-teamer on a Saturday and no one else can make it. We'll do it on like a Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, we're gonna do it on Monday.
Yeah.
Next Monday, that's a holiday. We'll do a tourney, just so no one can go.
Reno, before we move off the subject of yourself and Brandon in the finals. You had some choice words for the rest of the league.
Nobody wanted to play with me. I was a free agent. Not a single person hit me up. Bane hit me up. He said it's a wrap. He hasn't played in 5 tourneys. So what does he do? I told him we're going back to the finals. Come on.
That's right. I mean, shit, you were sitting out there in that free agency pool. I think you proved a lot of people wrong, and I think a lot of guys were watching your performance on that opening day and saying, damn, I might have fumbled.
Hey, listen, phones were open. Not many calls came through.
In third place, a strong performance from Rocco and Zill. They took an early loss to Torres and Kev, actually, in one of the best games of the day. And then they come roaring back in the losers bracket, win a bunch of games.
When did they lose, Troy?
They lost second round, but the way the bracket was set up, it brought them into the first round of the losers bracket. So they had a lot of wins to get out of there. In the end, I think let me see how many wins they had.
I think they had
4-2.
four?
They went 4-2 on the day.
4-2, yeah.
But the two losses, the big storyline for them, I think, is Zilly's mouth. I think Zilly's mouth they cost him a couple games. Game 1 against Torres and Kev. I wish I had pulled the compilation of Torres. But he slowly kind of got more hype and more into the game the more he heard Zill talk shit. And Torres even looked at the camera and said, I don't talk shit. So when I'm talking, you know I'm mad. And Zill just chirping, Zill, his little chirps. And it built something under Torres enough to make him want to win. And they did just that. And they actually won it off of this plunk right here. Kev being Kev.
I don't want to get. I'd rather. What are we talking about? Come on.
I didn't notice that was against Zill when I saw the clip, bro.
For the game too, and I think the score was 4-1 Rocco and Zill, and then maybe Biz 2, 4-2. Like it was a pretty lopsided game the whole time, and Torres and Kev just slowly snuck back in there, and then you can't have a close game with Kev tossing. It's almost like Jalen Brunson with the ball in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to live in when you got Kevin, JT, and they're starting to you feel the momentum with those two. But I will say, I don't know if you realized, but that was back to because that plunk was to win the game, right? That was a game winner.
Yeah. Yep.
That's back-to-back plunks going after that game for Rocco and Zill. They lost to the Berettis in the playoffs on a walk-off plunk, and then the very next game they played in tourney 1 was a walk-off plunk.
Wow.
I mean, that is tough to go out that way, 2 times in a row.
You
so
can't.
I know they were thinking a little bit like, come on, man, we're not going to do this again.
You can't do anything about that either. Like, what could you do to prevent from losing on a plunk? You know what I mean? Like, you can't even go, all right, like, let's get those points back. What points back? Like that shit sucks.
Slap the cup before it goes in.
Yeah, I guess you gotta like catch the die like before it goes in the cup. Can you even do that? No, that's a point, automatic point. So like, what you can't do nothing, bro. You get plunked, bro. You're done. You just gotta hope you're up 1 point when you get plunked. That's right. Like, the thing that you wanna. But if you're not up 1 point, it's tied game, and it's game on the line. You're done. That sucks.
Reno, you sitting in the dark on purpose? Oh shit!
No, I just looked at that and I was like, "Damn, that shit's going down." I don't even think I can get like a hallway light or anything over here. This is a computer screen.
I'm located in the studio right now.
The fourth place team was Cam Green and John Coco. A one-time team. They're not going to be playing together moving forward unless maybe some circumstances cause it. But Coco's regular partner this year is going to be Noah Benoit. He was not available. Coach obviously wasn't available for Cam, so they teamed up and they balled, man. They beat me and Ty. They beat a lot of good teams throughout the day. Found himself in fourth place. Coco, I think, was top. Did he lead the tourney in diving plays?
Coco? He even beat Cam for diving plays?
No, he didn't beat Reno for diving plays. He was second behind Reno. Reno had 11.
Reno
and
beat Cam for diving
Coco
plays.
came in with 7 seconds. So Coco was everywhere. Probably the best.
Reno is the league lead at diving plays currently. We have them right here, guys. If you want to know, right here.
I kind of went into demon mode after we beat Bigar and Jimmy, and I was like, I'm not letting a fucking single die hit the ground right now, and was just diving every chance I had.
The defense was on another level this tourney, and Coco brought his to a level I've never seen from him. I think we've seen flashes of Coco playing well, like having that kind of defensive prowess and making those diving plays, but on a consistent basis, we have not seen anything like what he put on for us on opening day. It was almost routine by the end. Like you even stopped cheering for it like you would the first, second, or third time you saw it. It was just like, oh, like it was almost like when Rocco makes another great diving play. You don't get too excited anymore. That's how it was with Coco towards the end. It was like, yep, there's another one. That's just routine for him. That's what he does now. It was cool to see him kind of come into his own. And I think maybe playing with Cam gave him that extra confidence boost to play fully like that. But I also think he's just been working in the offseason. And I think Noah, I think Noah's played one tourney in every season for the last 4 years. Only one tourney, maybe 2 at the most. I think, and every time he plays, he lands in the top 5 in a tourney. So I think Noah and Coco together, that's a slept-on team right there. That's going to be a sleeper.
I feel with Coco, he has good potential, and he always plays die, right? I just feel like it's like when you play pickup ball with your boys, it's casual, right? You guys are just having fun. It's not like you're going 110%. Like you're not really like playing like an organized league or like game, right? So he was used to that kind of die, probably more or less being competitive with your boys in the yard. But I feel like there's definitely something to say about the competitiveness at a UDL tourney. I don't know if you can really get that in any other way. Like you can practice as much as you want at the house, but the tourney just gets your blood going a little bit. I mean like butterflies, like I feel like sometimes I had to shit before the tourney, bro. I'd be like, yo, I gotta shit. Why? Like, I don't know, bro. I gotta shit like right now. Like I gotta shit. So, like, I don't know.
It changes
that, right? And once you get used to that type of competitiveness and you don't get as much nervous, and you just go out there and you have fun, then some days you're balling, right? And I feel like if he continues to play free, and continues to just be like a vet out there, right? Because he has experience under his belt now. I think he's gonna keep this level of play the whole season. I just feel like players get to this point in the UDL when they play for a couple years, and then they get comfortable and they start getting more consistent.
I think that's a great point. I always thought John Coco had great game,
Yeah,
and he really performed. Like he, I don't think Cam expected them to have as great as of a day as they did, and they showed out, and he was diving around everywhere. Would you say second in diving plays? I think he had more than 10 points on the day. That's a great day. I don't care how you cut it.
Nasty day, bro.
And I'd love to see him kind of break out. We love to see those players, that have been playing for a year or 2, maybe even 3. I think he's on year 2, maybe. Just kind of take that next step. He's on 3, yeah. Yep, just 3. Take that next step and really get to the next level. I will say, because I know this man's watching right now, and Cam Green, I have no idea how you ended up with 0 FIFAs. That was one of the craziest things when I saw the stat sheet, was that Cam Green came away with no FIFAs. And I want to see you on Saturday come in with a chip on your shoulder, and I want to see at least 5 kicks on Saturday.
I didn't even notice that.
To me, that was like the most. Rocco kicking 14 FIFAs was bizarre, but then to see Cam Green kicking 0, I was like, oh man, they went 4th and Cam didn't even have a FIFA. Like,
you just stumped Troy, bro. He didn't even know that. That's crazy.
It starts to make more sense why he led the tourney in points. I think he grabbed a lot of his points in the air, I mean, he put up 18 points in 6 games. That's 3 points per game.
Damn,
So,
Cam.
Cam's offense was looking better than ever, and I think he leans more on that than the FIFA aspect of the game. Because
Hold on, Troy. Let's finish up the top 5 like you were gonna go through, and then go through them stats. I want to hear them stats, bro.
Facts.
Love to hear the leaders and shit.
5th place, we had Torres and Kev, who had that big win against Rocco and Zill, and we're looking real good against
Rocco and Zill.
What was that game? The game they lost was against Cam and Coco. They were looking real good in that game.
Yeah.
And then Kev rolls his ankle, sprains his ankle, tweaks his ankle.
I forgot about
Right
that.
towards the end of the game, and I think that threw off everything. It went into overtime. They ended up losing.
Yeah.
I think it affected the game in one way. It
Got
got
hurt?
I don't think it's too serious, but in the moment, like, I mean, he definitely was hobbling for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And then the other 5th place spot, they can thank a very lucky draw of getting the bye and winning their first round game. But Bigar and Jimmy, with their one win that they secured in that winners bracket, was all they needed to grab a 5th place finish in a smaller tourney like this. They went 1-2 on the day, but that didn't stop them from grabbing a 5th place, 1 playoff point.
Hey.
Bigar had a phenomenal day for what he was dealt with. You know, what did you say? 3 games.
Yeah, he had 5 FIFAs through 3 games.
I was gonna say, I think I saw him kick 5 FIFAs 3 games. I mean, Rocco kicked 14 in I think 6 or 7 maybe. So he was like right. If he went a little deeper, he would have been right there with Rocco for the FIFAs.
Yeah, Rocco dropped a double-double, 11 points, 14 FIFAs.
Insane. I texted Rocco and I was like, 14 FIFAs, you're a demon. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, the stats are out. He's like, oh, I got to peep that.
Yeah.
14 FIFAs is crazy.
Insane.
I'll highlight the stats. So in points, Cam Green led the tourney with 18 of them. And mind you, Cam only landed in the final 4, so he didn't play as many games as some of the other guys played, and he still came out with 18 points on the day. The champion, Umbi, put up 17 on the day. Mazzilli had 16. Opoy Zill looking like himself again.
Looking like the Opoy again.
Yeah. Reno, yours truly, had 15 points, tied with his partner for the day, JT Bain, with another 15 points. Another former Opoy looking good to start the season. Brandon had 12. Rocco and Kev had 11 each. And then John Coco rounds out the top 10 with 10 points himself.
Nice.
FIFAs, I mean, Rocco ran the FIFA game. He had 14 of them. The next guy is 8 behind him with 6, and that's Justin Torres, followed by Bigar with 5, Umbi, and my partner Ty with 3. Ty actually looked real good with the Fiefs. We didn't get to play too many games. We had a tough draw. We ran into fucking Reno and JT. Gave us the work. But Ty, 3 Fiefs. We played 3 games, so that's a FIFA game, which isn't usually Ty's forte. So if he's going to get that going, I'm loving that sign for us. Plunks, there was only 2 of them on the day. Bigar and Kev for the win. And Bigar's wasn't for the win. I think they were down big, and that helped him get back into the game.
Only 2 plunks?
2 plunks, yep.
That's
I guarantee this. If I'm at the tourney, there'll be more than 2 plunks. Just because I don't think I've ever seen only 2 plunks. Was it windy?
No, wasn't there? There was weather. I think it was windy to start.
It had to be.
Yeah,
it was like cloudy and windy to start.
We have people in our yard that dead ass cup hunt. I don't like hearing 2. Like, I know motherfuckers that dead ass try to punk you.
That's crazy to me. I'm shooting to hit the table every time.
I know a lot of people that get plunks, bro. Like, get plunks. JT, Langa, who let him plunk last year? Ask all these people if they go. Yeah, ask Roach and all these people they're going for.
Roach cup hunts for sure.
That'd be a good question. Like, do you go for plunks or do you just get them? You know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna say who I was playing, and it was the first time I've ever done it, and I was trying to specifically throw the die one way, and that was absolutely not working. So that's kind of like cup hunting, or trying to pick a guy to specifically pepper. Like,
What are you talking about? You did that. You did that shit to who?
oh, don't worry about it. It didn't work. Let's say it this way: it didn't work out. So
I know exactly who you're talking about, and no, it did not work.
This is a
no,
safe
it
place.
kept going the other way, bro. I was like, "What the hell is going on?"
Listen. This is a safe place. So, who was it? I'm not even smiling. I'm just asking a good question.
Who do you think it was? You tell me. Who do you think it was?
I mean, I haven't played in a while. I would say it was myself.
Sorry about this light. Got nothing going on here.
I'm not sure if I mentioned before.
I don't know
about the new stats that we're logging this season. I don't know if I've made this official.
You're about to mention it?
100%.
You haven't. I'll tell you that.
We got some new stat categories that we decided to add. I think they'll help us not only with awards, all UDL, all defensive appearances, and it'll just kind of give us a better scope of how players are on some of those stats that don't always regularly show up in a stat sheet. One of those
stats aren't posted correctly.
No, these aren't stats that I'm going to add to the website.
All right, so don't be afraid.
Kind of just for us in the back end. I mean,
I love that.
I'll talk about them on some pods, but they're not. I try not to post bad stats per se. So
yeah, no reason
necessarily a good stat, but one of them is drops. Now that's kind of a like
it's touchy because anything
like a touchy
drop if you don't know what it's talking about.
It's mostly a dice that you should have that you don't catch. If you're making a great effort, full extension dive, and it's hitting off your fingers, and even if you get up and say, "My bad, I should have had it," like that's if it wasn't called an error in baseball, it's probably not going to get called a drop in UDL.
I like that standard.
I kind of look at it a baseball standard of what an error is called, something that you just should have, and you know when you're playing when you drop it, and when it's like, yeah, I made a good bid and I just missed it. So yeah, that's a big one we added. I think that'll help a lot with defensive player of the year and all defensive teams, just to see, I mean, who's not catching the dice.
Sure. Are you gonna at least hit us
with the drop?
Sneak peek. Maybe go like top. Can you do that?
Yeah, I'll tell you who had the most drops on the day.
Or no, go the other way because you said you don't want to.
All right, I'll tell you who had the least drops on the day.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, do that.
Umby played.
He played 5 or 6.
Umby played in 5 games and he only dropped 2 dice on the day.
Damn.
Elite.
Cam played in 6 games and he only dropped 2 dice on the day. Rocco played in 6 games. He only dropped 4 dice. Kev only dropped 4 in 4 games. I mean, I'll motivate the guys that had the biggest drops. I mean, Torres had a tough drop day. He had 11 through 4 games. That led the tourney. Brandon was behind him. Granted, he played 5 games, but he dropped 9. Reno, you played a shit ton of games, so no surprise to see you towards the top here with 8. Zill with 7, Coco with 6, Jimmy Phipps 6, Ty 5, JT 5. That's the top of the drop leaderboard, but none of those are really bad stats. I mean, I think Torres had 1 game where he had a really bad game of drops, and after that, I mean, if you're averaging anything less than 2 drops per game, I think you're in a good spot.
Yeah, I did definitely agree.
I don't think we even know yet.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Like with 1 tourney, you have a sample size, and even however many games each guy played within this tourney, it's hard to know. Like we'll see after a full season, we'll see what it's like to be like how the drops should be looked at and what's a good season of drops and what's not. I also added this one's a cool one for FIFA crowd. I added FIFA drops. It's not going to go anywhere or really matter. I just want to know who drops a FIFA that was placed into their hand, which we see every turn and we see it all the time. With all those guys that kick FIFA is Rocco, Torres, their partner at least once or twice a season, if not more, has those FIFs that just land right in between their fingers and they drop them because sometimes they're just too easy. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going to add those, and that way we'll see at the end of the year, like, yeah, Rocco, you were FIFA king, but Torres, if Kev didn't drop 6 FIFAs on the year, you would have won FIFA king. So I think it'll be cool to see how
low-key,
changed history.
We should make a video showing what you mean by a drop.
Yeah, we can do that.
Playing like the new rules. I think that'd be cool. If it was like
Yeah.
new rules and it'd be like drops.
It's not a new rule.
I mean,
how
new
I
stat.
see it is I'm thinking like maybe take 1 step and it still hits you in the hand. Maybe 2 steps at most, something like that.
Even if it hits off your chest, if it comes at your chest and you try to go for
Right.
a chest bump and you drop it, that's a drop. It's really we're all. I hold all of us at high standards too, which doesn't help the fact that like I don't even think the 2-step rule would work because if you easily get around a screen and you're standing there waiting at the other side of the table for a dribbler and you drop it, you took more than 2 steps, but that's 100% still a drop.
Yeah, anyone see me just
right.
drop this shit trying to eat it, pause, and I caught it with this hand, and then went like that. I don't know if anyone caught that, John, but I'm telling you, that's the shit we're talking about. That's a drop. How the fuck am I dropping shit trying to eat? That's a drop. Like, you know when you dropping shit, man.
Bro, I'd be dropping screws at work. I know there's plenty of blue collar guys out there in the league, and I'm just like, just grab that shit out of the air.
We another stat I'm logging just because I think it'd be interesting to see is bounce back points. How many points are you getting on rollbacks and bounce backs? And I haven't actually done the math yet, so I can't tell you exactly what percentage of points each person has as rollbacks, but I'll have that eventually. So then we could be like, wow, 75% of his points come from bounce backs or rollbacks. So I thought that'd be
now you're gonna make we have a scouting report on motherfuckers now. If comes out after this year 70% rollbacks, whoever his partner is, better wear a fucking like something to protect their chest because niggas gonna be running through him.
Yeah, they wear a catcher's vest.
They gonna be trying to hurt Brandon. So we might need to watch out with these damn stats and who we tell this shit to. You might have to subscribe to UDL scouting report, and we'll send you this shit. But you gotta pay.
That analytics team going crazy this
year.
Yeah,
you gotta pay per player. I was watching the Patriots today, the little shit on YouTube. Those scouts get a lot of money, so Troy got the scouting report. You're gonna have to pay him if you want it.
Here's a stat for you. Here's a stat for you that I'm just looking now. Brandon led the tourney with 8 bounce back points. Umbi was second with 7. So that's
no wonder they ended up fucking winning the whole thing.
That's 15 total bounce backs, and they had 29 combined points on the day. So over 50% of their points were scored off of bounce backs. That's tough. How do you beat that? You're not going to win when they're scoring.
Yeah, but that also tells you how good our league is at catching dice because the only way they could score was bounce backs.
That's true.
That as well.
Yeah,
you could go so deep with it. Like
go deep into this shit if you really want.
Yeah, but I know, but it's
crazy.
The guy. Listen, the hours aren't free, but
you know how much ideas I just had. Oh my god!
You could dive into like rollback catch percentage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was
how
thinking.
Many dudes catch rollbacks? You know, and that'd be another one for Depoy. But listen, I don't expect you to go that deep.
I'll add that to the list for season 8.
Yeah, exactly.
Season 8. You just keep making it more intricate. By the end, it'll be like a whole metric system of where they stand at what time and how many steps the speed it takes to get to a dice. But until then, yeah, I think. Oh, and then the final stat is back on table, which doesn't. I'm not going to count it as a self point. It's just more for me, kind of in my stats to help keep track of the score. Because I used to not log a back on the table as anything. I didn't really have a category for it. And then if I went back to look at a game and I'm counting all the points throughout all the stats and I see they only had 6, I used to just assume all that last point came from a back on table. But we'll log it now, and it'll be cool to see at the end of the year who fucked up the most with the back on the table.
That's the worst.
Exciting news here. We have a new gadget for next tourney and future tourneys.
Oh, shut.
And it is these glasses. These are POV glasses. So in the middle there's a camera.
Fucking shut.
So we're going to have volunteers when it's their turn to play. Pop these bad boys on. We'll get the recording going.
That's
and then
crazy.
We'll get your POV of playing die.
Don't give those to Matt Russell. I know he busted a pair of sunglasses last year.
Did he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember he was like, my Oakleys. I was like, dude, don't wear Oakleys to die.
Yeah, I'm not going to give him to
J Rich. Give him to J Rich.
Yeah, J Rich doesn't dive. He'd be perfect. I won't give him to Cam Green because Cam Green likes to fucking spank his head on the ground too.
As you might get to it, but I'm dying to know, is Lang and J Rich going to be there on Saturday?
They're definitely going to be there Saturday. In fact, Lang had just commented. Unfortunately, I forgot to even mention our co-host Lang could not be on this pod. He was golfing, but he said see you Saturday. He's back with a emoji. So
love it.
Yeah, that goes for the Lang.
Dude, and not to mention, like, dude's got to get some clout on the podcast today. Like, Sean Roach is going to get back to his usual ways. Like, I know he is. He's such a dog. And then I you know, like, I don't know if he's going to be there, but, you know, we were missing D Hall. If I dove deeper, I could pull 2 or 3. I mean, Noah wasn't there. Like, I could pull a couple names that weren't there that are just going to make, I mean, Noah shows up, that's an extra team. Lang and J Rich are showing up, that's an extra team. Like, Roach and Cam, extra team. Like, this is tourney 2 is going to get deep, and there's going to be a lot of dogs hunting for, you know, the first ring of the year.
Yeah, we should be seeing D Hall and Darling back. Noah's
Darling,
back.
forgot about him. Yeah.
There's some rumors about a very special guest coming back. I won't say too much about that. But there's some rumors. I don't want to get people excited and it not happen, but there's a former UDL All-Star that is looking to make a return on Saturday as well.
Would love that.
I think it's going to be a good day. And if it gets rained out, which it looks like it may, we're looking at Sunday. Nothing official yet, but I'll be in touch with everyone about that. But fingers crossed, we should be good to go Saturday because we should have a good turnout, and I think it's going to be a good tourney. Everyone's going to come out hunting for that ring after opening day because I don't think anyone expected opening day to be that intense and the games to be that good and the competition level to be that high so early on.
Now, do you have an idea if it was Saturday where it would be?
You
don't, you know.
I'll be in touch.
Yeah.
No, I'll be in touch about that.
Just because, like, I will say this. Harbor Freight sells tarps for $5. Like, we could tarp that backyard up. I know that I looked at the weather report and I saw that really Saturday morning into literally when a die tournament would start is when it would come down.
Yeah,
just throw it out there. I got 20 extra bucks for some tarps if we need to make some shit happen.
I'll hit you up.
Say what?
I'll hit you up. We'll be in touch about that. That could be a good idea, actually.
Tarp it up.
Dude, I mean, like, realistically, think about it. Like, you throw the tarp on, the grass is going to be dry, you know?
Yeah.
That's just me wanting to play Saturday. Sorry for the sad comment.
You're not around Sunday for a potential
No, I'm
Sunday?
around Sunday, but if you push it the next weekend, forget about it. So I'd love for it to be this weekend.
It's happening this weekend no matter what. We can't afford to miss
what?
this one. Shit, let me get your way too early award predictions, Reno. I'm looking for your way too early MVP pick, Opoy, Depoy.
Okay.
We'll hold off on Rookie of the Year for now, and then MIP.
Okay. Where do you want to start? Do you want to go backwards or forwards?
We can go back. We can go in the order that we announce them in. So that'd be MIP first.
Okay. Oof. So MIP, I told Brian and Matt before the tournament started, I was like, dude, you guys are top candidates for that. You know, I think that they could have had a better day. I think that they're due for an extremely good day. I think one of these tournaments you're going to see Matt and Coco pop into the top 5, if not top 3, and be like, oh shit, what's going on? But I do think that John Coco right now, we haven't seen him with Noah, but for me, I think that he had a great day, like great day. Like I said about Cam not kicking a FIFA, Coco had 2 FIFAs, you know? I mean, 2's nothing to write home about, but like it's a good start to his, you know, season. You multiply that by 8, that's 16 FIFAs in a season. That's a great season. So I got John as MIP. Way too early MIP.
I like that.
What
about Opoy?
Oof.
That's
oh
tough.
my God.
You got no stats to
That's
go
tough.
You're really just predicting here.
No, I know. I know the stats pretty well. Like I know Cam had 18. He was number 1. Mazzilli was up there in the top 3, top 5. Same thing with Umbi.
Yeah.
The guy I want to go with would change completely the route that I would go, and totally out of left field. Not left field, but I'm gonna go Umbi. I'm gonna go Umbi with Opoy because I honestly think he could, like, especially after turning 1 and what he's capable of. Right now he's on the ballot for Opoy, Depoy, and MVP.
Yeah.
You know, he had a great turn. He won and he won the first tournament. So if he gets a second one with Brandon for the year, it's really hard to not consider him, if not be a top 3 candidate for those 3 awards that I just listed. So I'm gonna go Umbi on that one.
Good pick. Give me your defensive player of the year.
Defensive player of the year. See, I did want to go Umbi with that, but I think he had a great offensive turning 1. I think he's got like kind of a little chip on his shoulder about the whole like Umbi Bigar. I kind of want to prove to the league that it doesn't have to be with Bigar. So I did want to go Opoy with him. Ooh, that's so tough. Sorry, I got minimal light out here. I'm gonna go. All right, how about this? Hasn't played yet. Give me Sean Roach.
For Depoy?
For Opoy.
For Opoy.
Oh, so you said Depoy?
No, I did say Opoy, right?
We already did Opoy.
No, you gave Opoy.
Sorry about that. Depoy. I still think Roach, because it'd be like very hard just because he missed one tourney to see him not on one of those top 3 ballots.
You got Roach Opoy?
Yep. I think he's gonna come out firing. I know that he was like, it was talks.
I like that better. I like that one better.
Oh my God, it was talks that he was gonna miss the first 2 tourneys. I'd still, even if he missed 2, I'd put him in conversation. He's just that elite.
So Umbi out of Opoy, maybe Umbi into Depoy?
Umbi Depoy.
Or do you have
Roach? I'm sticking with Umbi, Opoy, and Rochi Depoy. I'm sticking with it.
Gotcha. All right, who does that leave for your MVP then?
That is
it Rocco's season? Or is it the old trusty Langa?
Tom
Is it a
Cooper?
new,
How
new phase?
Tom Cooper?
Or is it TC all day?
I think TC
You know,
got a good team. I heard he had a great tourney.
I'm not going chalk today. Give me MVP, B-Gar.
B-Gar? Okay.
B-Gar. Yep. I think with Phipps, he's gonna run up the FIFAs. I think he's gonna be kicking a ton of FIFAs with Phipps. And
yeah,
like I said, they went 1 and 2, got top 5, and I think that was a bad day. They had a bad day. And he knows it. B-Gar knows it. Jimmy knows it too. That was a bad day for them. So I see them going top 4 on Saturday if we play. And I think he starts to climb. And I think that between him and Umby, when they played together, there was so much minimal mistakes from them that it caused the other team to make mistakes. I think that you're going to see B-Gar in tougher battles. And I do see B-Gar at least getting another one with Jimmy. And I think that I could easily see B-Gar over 100 points he got 5 FIFAs. I could see him at 25 FIFAs, 125. That's a great season.
He went 5 and 5, so he'll need another 95 points in the next 7 tourneys.
Oh, did he go 5 and 5? He's capable.
Yeah, it wasn't a big scoring day for him necessarily, but 5 Fiefs in 3 games is very, very good.
You think about it. If you go play average 5 games a tourney, that's 3 and 2, 10 points. That's only 2 a game. That's multiply that by 7. That's 70, and he had 5. That's 75. So he's going to make up a little points to get to 100. But we all know he's capable of more than 10 points a tourney, no doubt.
He'll go on the runs. Jimmy Phipps is going to have to prove that he's the man for the job. That run they had was not a fluke, and that he's really him, and that his game backs up the shit that he talks. I think Jimmy Phipps, I think it all relies on Jimmy for B-Gar. I think B-Gar, we know what we're getting with Gar. He's going to play solid as die all the time, not really mess up, not really talk shit. And then you got Jimmy, who's a wild card. He comes out firing, he comes out fiery, and he makes a lot of great plays, but he drops some dice, and maybe he talks too much sometimes. That's going to be an interesting duo to see moving forward.
You know who Jimmy reminds me of?
Who's that?
Since you say fiery,
yeah,
he's like the Cheeto Tiger guy. What is that Cheeto guy from the commercial? He was so annoying when I used to watch him. Yeah, he's so annoying when I used to watch those commercials, bro. Because he's just so hyper. You just want to grab him, relax, bro.
I will say a couple of things here though.
Jimmy, I feel like Jimmy's crazy. It's crazy.
To leave out Rocco, Mazzilli, Kev, JT, and there's Cam Green, for no awards. Crazy by me. I get that. But hey, listen, shout out to those guys. They ball. And the other thing is you didn't hit on comeback player of the year. Wrap it up. We won't go that far, but lock it in, JT Bain. I guarantee you he'll get comeback player of the year.
Can I do my awards real quick?
Yeah, bounce.
I'd love to hear it.
MIP John Coco. Offensive player of the year, Sean Roach. Defensive player of the year, Umbriana. MVP, Langa.
Love that.
Yeah, Langa. And then
that's the other honorable mention. Sorry, I didn't even shout out Lang and Jay. Come on, goats! That's crazy by me.
That's all the awards, right?
Just comeback player of the year.
Comeback player of the year, JT Bang.
Yeah, wow, the Lang MVP pick. I like the Lang MVP pick is a ballsy pick. We haven't seen Lang in MVP form in 3 years, but.
Lang, listen. I don't know if you guys seen Luka Doncic lately. Let's relate Langa to Luka Doncic real quick. All right, Lang is slim. He looks real.
I'm not worried about his athleticism.
Lang is looking at peak athleticism right now. I think Langa is gonna have his best year. I think you guys are lucky Langer didn't play Tourney 1. And I think when he plays Tourney 2 and we have another podcast, they're gonna be like, yo, I told you so.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you heard it here first, and Lang will be very happy to hear that you made that prediction.
No, hopefully he hears this and he go ahead and he does it, and then he proves me right, and then I get back on here and I'll be like, yeah, I told you so.
I will say that I'm gonna do everything in my power to try to get JT Bain a second Opoy. And by that I mean I'm gonna try to hang in every single game, and I'm gonna talk my talk real quick. I'm very much trying to stay in the conversation for Depoy this year. I think I came out and had a great Tourney 1 to show that. I'm gonna put my all in to make sure that Bain and I can try to get on the ballot for one of those top awards.
Let's go, bro.
You should.
Can. I mean, yeah, you can. You should. The way you guys started the season, even if you regress a little bit, I mean, the regression would be down to good instead of amazing. So, I mean, I could see you guys landing on the ballot, even with one or two more performances like you had.
Yeah,
that's how good you looked in that one day. Because a few more like that'd be a couple finals appearances or a couple Final 3 runs.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think that anybody that like a lot of top teams ended up in the top 5, but even for teams that didn't make the top 5, dude, it's die. All you got to do is string together a couple tournaments in a row and have some killer days, and you can find yourself right in the conversation. So, I think of like Russell and Coco, the other Coco, plenty of those guys that may or may not consider themselves in one of those top categories. Like, dude, you go to the finals back-to-back times, maybe you grab one, maybe you go 2 finals in a row, like you're right there in the conversation. So just gotta stay motivated, playing good die.
Let's get before we wrap up the show, let's get into some Beat the Lang. I know Lang's not here, so I have a different kind of style for this Beat the Lang. Let me count the questions I have. 1, 2, 3.
Are you gonna call Langer in?
I'm not. I'm gonna have Reno just compete against the field. I have 10 questions here. What should our goal for Reno to be? And actually, in honor of Reno making the finals.
What's the theme?
I'm telling you right now.
Oh, okay.
In honor of Reno making the finals on opening day, this is a finals edition theme of Beat the Lang. So all these trivia questions are UDL finals related.
How many questions?
I have 10 questions. Let's go for 6, Reno. Let's see if you can get 6 right.
Yeah, I was gonna say 5. Bump it up one.
No. We all went to school, right? All right. So whatever you get right, we're gonna give you a grade based off that. If you get 5, that's an F. If you get 6, that's a D. If you get 7, wow. Yeah, because that 6 is 60%.
Yeah, I hear that. All right, fine, fair enough.
You know math. If you get 7, that's a C. Because you now have 70%. If you get 8, you got a B. If you get 9, you got an A. If you get 10, you get an A plus.
All right, here we go.
Or we can scale it and say we can say if you get, you know what I'm saying? But see how hard they are.
Question 1.
3 with that fucking intro.
Who was JT Bain's partner for his first finals appearance?
Ooh.
That's such
You're gonna start it easy like that?
That's
Fabi Rosa.
Fabiano Rosa is correct. That happened in season 3, Tourney 3, back in June of 2021.
Damn.
Next question. So we're locked. Who lost to Umbi and Bigar in the season 6 playoff finals? This is a bunny. This is a layup.
Playoffs finals?
Who lost to Umbi and Bigar in the season 6 playoff finals?
That was last year, right?
Yeah.
That was Beretti squared.
Correct. Michael and Drew Beretti. 2 for 2. That was easy. They will get harder. I'll warn you.
Okay.
But I just thought a little easy. Which team made the most finals appearances in season 2 back in 2020?
I wasn't there, but I'm an avid listener, reader, website checker. I think that if my memory's serving me right, it was Troy and Marani.
Now, if the question was which team won the most finals in season 2, you would have been correct.
Oof.
But the team that went to the most finals was actually Scott and Drew,
Oh,
who made
come
it
on.
to 3 finals that season. They won
That
one.
question's fucked.
They lost one to myself and Marani, and they lost another to Lang and J-Rich, and then they beat Lang and J-Rich in one.
We all miss lefty layups.
All right. That was a tough one. That's a tough one. Here's a good question here. Who did Umby win the Rising Stars tourney with in season 5?
Season 5, Rising Stars. God, he won season 5 Rising Stars.
He did.
I don't remember who that's with. I think I know.
Are you sure? Season 5, he was the Rising Star.
Season 5, he didn't qualify games tourneys played for All Stars, but you only need one less for Rising Stars qualifications.
Can I at least get where was it? Was it at Umby's house?
This went down at
Was that Kearney's?
Kearney's house.
Was it Kearney's? Because I know season 4.
Was that Kearney's crib?
Because I know Brandon and I played together season 4 in the Rising Stars. So it was the year after that. Oh God. Ooh, that is tough. It was one of the
You weren't
Coopers.
there?
Now I was there. It was one of the Coopers.
You had to be there, bro, to know this. Come on. You were there.
I think that was the day that TC All Day originated. And I don't know if it was TC or DC. It was DC.
Is that your final guess, Dave Cooper?
Yeah, final guess.
That is correct. Dave Cooper won the.
Yeah, I wanted you to get there. I knew if you just thought about the day, you would get there.
Yeah.
That was a tough one. I didn't think you were going to remember that. People forget. People sleep that Dave Cooper raised that Rising Stars trophy at the end.
But the crazy part was it was gonna be either the Coopers. It was both Coopers to go to the finals.
They met in the finals, yeah.
So either way, a Cooper was gonna win. I was gassed. I'm like, let's go. Like,
I'm waiting. That's an honorable mention for MIP, DC, TC.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's so many people that would be up for awards. If we had like 10 individuals on this call, they would all give you different answers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, so you're 3 for 4 right now. You missed one.
You're doing good.
You're doing good. Moving on to question 5. Who did Cam and Roach beat in the finals to win their very first UDL championship?
This dude's digging, bro.
That's a dig. Do you have the tournament?
I think I know who it is.
I could give you the tourney. The tourney's a little bit of a gimme, but
okay. All right. Can you give me the season? Can you give me the season?
5, obviously. You know it was season 5 because they didn't partner up till then. Season 4, they were rookies. And it happened in 23.
I was gonna say 2 or 3.
This dude's crazy, bro. Is this on Quizlet?
God.
I would have fucking failed this quiz.
Once you hear this answer, you're gonna.
No, I know who it is.
Oh,
but yeah, you're gonna ask Reno this question.
Tourney 5 season 3. There. I got 2 names and two partners. The partners are Lang and J Rich or Cam and Roach. Or you said Cam was.
Well, the Roach is the team you're trying to.
Yeah. Sorry.
Say who they beat.
Sorry, I meant Umby Bigar. I'm gonna go Umby Bigar.
That is incorrect. The correct answer is actually it's also not the answer is Joe Espenshade and Brian Darling.
Ooh.
I thought it was Rocco and Zell.
I thought it could have been too.
They played in the finals, right? Did Rocco and Zell beat them? Is that what it was?
In that tourney,
That
I
year.
can't remember exactly.
Oh, that year.
I don't think they met in the finals that year. No,
No?
Was that Pat push-up tourney?
no, that was the year
No.
before. It was rookie Pat.
Oh, okay,
This
all
was
right,
when
all right.
Joe came back without Pat. And remember, Joe was kind of a
Oh,
free agent.
he was with Darling. I'm sorry.
And he bounced in, he bounced around, he played with Darling, and they
Yeah.
had a run. This was rookie Darling, and everyone's like, holy shit, this dude is good.
Was that before or after Darling?
We had already seen we had already seen Darling. We saw a glimpse of him in tourney 1 and 2. He played with Andrew and Critty, and he looked pretty solid in each tourney. And then he came in tourney 3 with Joe and lit it up.
Right. Yeah, because he had that tourney with
He played with Andrew, and they looked
Andrew,
good.
yeah, and they lit it up, dude.
Yep.
It was crazy. Everyone in the backyard was like, "What's
Darling
going on?"
Darling has a really slept on rookie of the year win. Like, I think that rookie year is slept on. He didn't make it to too many tourneys, but the ones he was at, he placed, and his stats are very good. All right, you're off to a.
I just learned something.
A good start.
Rocco and Zell beat Joe and Darling for their first ring. I mean, Cameron Roach. That's crazy.
So you're 3 for 5 right now. Here's a good one. Which team won the very first playoff championship?
I knew you were gonna dive very deep into you.
That's not deep,
season
though.
1 and
No,
2.
Remember, we didn't start the playoffs until season 3.
That's easier than the last one.
So say it one more time.
Who won? Which team won the very first playoff championship? And I'll add in season 3.
Oh, in season 3. All right, that changes it.
Place.
I think that was Rocco and D Hall.
That is correct. That is correct. All right, you're 4 for 6.
Yeah.
Last 4 questions. Which team did Kearney lose to in his first and only ever finals appearance?
Fuck, I know who he played with. Who did he play? He played with AJ.
He played with AJ, yep.
Oh my god. That had to have been season 3.
That's a good question. Let me try to think.
I think that was season 3. Because I wasn't in the league and I never saw AJ play, so oof.
I only got one team I can think of about.
I thought you would have this one, Tanner.
I'm gonna go. So it wasn't like Kevin JT because I know they took to like season 4 to get there. Very sellout, but I'm going Lang and J Rich.
Nope. The answer is Colin Reddy and Nick Knapp.
Oh, love
Season
those guys.
3.
They were incredible, dude.
They were nasty.
Nasty.
Season 3, turning 5.
Oh.
All right, you're 4 for 7. We got 3 more questions to go. Let's try to get all 3 here.
Yeah.
Who was the first team other than Scott and Drew to win a UDL championship? I'll read that again if the wording was weird. Who was the first team other than Scott and Drew to win a UDL championship?
I think Scott and Drew took the first because I think you guys started at 3 or 5 tourneys in season 1 and 2.
Season 1 had 3. They swept the board. They won all 3.
That's what I thought. So it would be the second year, and that's got to be Troy and Morani.
That is correct. Me and Morani did take tourney 1. Scott and Drew then came back and took tourney 2. Then we grabbed tourney 3, and then Lang and J Rich started their dynasty by grabbing tourney 4 in epic fashion with a J Rich walk-off. That season was short, but it was stacked with some good ass moments. Some good finals too. The finals in tourney 2 that Scott and Drew won. That's that epic play of Langus Plunk when JT's in the back yelling, "That might be cup. That might be cup. That might be cup."
Oh, that's got to be the most iconic UDL.
Iconic. That was in the finals. That was in the finals of tourney 2 when Lang and J Rich won game 1. And that game was also famous for being J Rich's rookie tournament. J Rich this is the first time we'd ever met J Rich. He shows up
Wow.
And I remember I'm recording that finals game, and I'm like, it's crazy we got a rookie in the finals right now. He looked at me like I'm crazy, like I had two edges. He said, I'm not a rookie, bro. I play die all the time. It's just an expression, bro. Like rookie in this league. This is your first time in this. He's like, he didn't understand, but I think he does now. But yeah, Jay Rich.
Can't wait to see that guy on this weekend.
Oh,
Jay
absolutely.
Rich, great guy.
All right, that was a good question answered right there. So you got 5 right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you got 5. Last 2 questions. Who did Roach win the Rising Stars tourney with in season 4?
They beat me, so I'm pretty confident on this that it was Donnell.
That is correct. Wow.
But yeah,
They beat me and Brandon.
But
Yeah, quick backstory, but Brandon and I had a great Rising Stars tournament. And that's what sparked the beginning of it. But I think we lost in the semis, but we went 2-2, and I hit him up like March of the following year and was like, "You still trying to lock in?" Because we had that conversation that day, and he was like, "Oh, absolutely. I was waiting on you to hear it." I was like, "Oh, say less." But
let's go.
Yeah, Denal and Roach did beat us.
I remember that partnership happening in real time.
Yeah. I remember y'all made that play, and like Brandon went like under you, and you like jumped over Brandon in the tourney, like you almost like hit each other.
Yeah.
That was when like the jump and bump on the side like originated. Like,
true.
That's me and Brandon's move, you know.
Right. People also sleep on the Rising Stars tourney, but I think a lot gets created from Rising Stars. I think some UDL names have been made from the Rising Stars tourney.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Those included. I think you're one of the biggest success stories from Rising Stars.
I 100% hit you up at work one day and was like, "Yo, NBA does it. I think that would work well." And my thought process was like, I'd love to get into the All-Star tournament. I'm not there yet, but
give me
if we could make this happen. And you were like, "That's a great idea."
We had so many rooks and sophomores that were good that just weren't at the All-Star level, because that was when our league had so many guys. A lot of those guys that played in the early years were still around, and then we had all these newer guys like the season 4 rookies, that huge rookie class coming in.
Yeah,
we kind of had a huge amount of guys at once, so it was necessary to start the Rising Stars, because I think it gave guys like you at that time a chance to shine and show that you're better than everyone expected and sees in the regular tourney, because it's tough when you don't play a lot of die and you get thrown into game 1 against Lang and J Rich and they work you, and it's like, damn, I probably don't look great, but I swear I'm not bad at die. I just got a bad game and a bad draw. So Rising Stars gives you a clean slate and other players and around your skill level that you can kind of show that, I'm ready for the big leagues. And that's what you did. You and Brandon did it together.
Oh, absolutely. It reminds me of the Rising Stars reminds me of that. I think it was season 4 tourney 1, the play-in rookie tournament. You remember that?
Yeah.
That was crazy, dude.
That shit was fun.
I remember. I think you had Begar. If I remember correctly, you had Cam, Jay Davern, Begar, Ombi,
Pat, Joe, Denal.
Drew Beretti was in that with someone.
Drew Beretti was in that. Maybe TC/DC weren't in that yet, right? They came.
They were. Yep. TC and DC were there.
They were.
And
dude, that was crazy.
Drew Beretti might have been playing with Jimmy Phipps at that point too, which is crazy.
I think so. And we had to kick a dude out of the backyard because he didn't have a partner at the time, but he was technically a rookie for that day.
Yeah. Wow.
That was wild. That was a great day.
That flies, man. That doesn't seem like too long ago. That's a good 3 years ago now, 4 years.
Yeah.
Last question. So you got 6 so far. You're going for 7 out of 10. I don't think you're gonna get this one, to be honest, but prove me wrong.
Hit me.
Who was Lange's partner in the season 3 All-Star tourney when they lost in the finals to J Rich and D Hall?
I know the answer.
This was a long-awaited matchup. We finally got to see Lang and J Rich go head-to-head against each other, and it happened in the finals.
Oh my God! What season you said this was?
This is season 3.
Oh my God, this dude's an asshole for this one.
Yeah,
God.
that's crazy. I knew when you scaled me, bro. I was like, yo, you're wild.
Bro, I would have did bad at this. I think I would have got 7 to 8 right. So if you get this is great. But I don't think anyone's gonna get higher if you get this right. I don't think anyone at home got more
Season
right.
3.
Someone at home immediately spit out the name because they remember how epic.
No, this one I'm talking about total.
Okay.
If Reno gets this, he only got 3 wrong, bro. That's a good ass score.
That's tough.
I'm gonna go with like an OG. I'm gonna go with an OG here. Give me Owen Kearney.
Owen Kearney is a good guess. He was in that tourney, but it was actually
I knew he was.
It was actually Brian Shazo.
Oh my God! Wow, hell of a player.
Schmerda, you turned your camera on accidentally, I think.
I fucked my cord up. I don't know what happened to my camera.
He was Shazo was model of consistency when he was playing in the league.
Defensively, yeah. His offense was shaky at times, but defensively, Shazo was probably top 5 every season he was an active player on the defensive end. He was lights out.
He had that crazy fucking celly.
I have a clip of Torres and Shazo had a battle. It was Kevin Torres versus Shazo and Mark. Final 3, chance to go to the finals in a tourney. Torres and Kev ended up winning. But the game went back and forth, and Shazo just kept snagging and snagging and snagging. And after the game, Shazo's covered in mud and dirt. And Torres, who doesn't know Shazo too well, they got mutual respect through the league, but they're not friends by any means. Torres grabs Shazo by the shoulder and looks at the camera and says, "This is the defensive player of the year right here. This is your defensive player of the year." And I always liked that clip because that just shows, like, man, UDL really brings some people together because those aren't guys that know each other. And just the respect you get from battling in the trenches with a guy and watching him make plays like that. And you know how hard it is to make plays like that. And Shazo made it look so easy.
Mm-hmm.
I just like that respect that that JT showed him.
That makes me excited to see this. We got to lock in this weekend if we can't run on Saturday. But that makes me excited for this mysterious potential guy that's going to come in and play this weekend.
Yeah, you guys are going to be excited. He's always a good addition when he's around. But Schmerda, I know you're struggling over there. Reno,
my camera's not working, dog. I can't get it on.
I know, Reno, I appreciate you hopping on the pod. Of course, you were our first option to get on here. We'll be seeing Brandon and I'll be soon enough on here for sure. But we needed you for that drama with the Brandon thing, the JT aspect of it, your performance in general. Easy first guest, and we appreciate you having you on. Do you have any closing words for the people at home?
Yeah, I appreciate it. I wouldn't be on this pod this afternoon if it wasn't for Bane. So shout out to him. Shout out to Brandon Umby. They killed it, and they played better than we did. So I got to give them a great shout out. And then I'm looking forward to seeing, like I said earlier, Lang, Jay Rich, Sean Roach, D Hall, Noah. I'm looking forward to seeing these guys because it's just going to make the weekend more competitive, which is the best part of it. Not that Tourney 1 wasn't competitive. That was a great tournament, but I think Tourney 2 is they always exceed each other. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to Saturday. If we can't get up Saturday, Sunday it is. And we did Sunday last time. I was hurting pretty bad on Monday, but looking forward to it.
Schmerda, you got any closing words over there? If you can figure it out.
Is my shit blurry or like?
No, you're good.
Am I clear?
You're good.
Yeah, I'm good. All right, yeah. My closing words would be: I hope the tourney is able to, go on Saturday. But if not, everyone be ready for Sunday because that's definitely a possibility with the rain. And I definitely want to see everyone there because I missed the first tourney, so I want to see a lot of matchups that I didn't get to see. So I want to see Troy. I want to see Zilly. I want to see Reno. I want to see Langa, Roach, like Cam, like all those teams. The Umbies, everyone.
All the characters.
Guys, just get ready for Sunday, just in case it rains for Saturday.
All right, I got a quick one for you too. Who you got winning this weekend?
Me and Ty.
I already told you.
Hell yeah.
Langa.
Me and Ty, baby.
Let's go, boys. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you guys.
All right, fellas. Appreciate y'all.